Hi, hello, and welcome to the Light Warriors Academy, where we featured heart-centered entrepreneurs that are making a difference in their communities and in the world. And today it is my honor to introduce the one and the only Jen Ulind. She is an author of 2 bestseller books, an internationally recognized business and career coach. She has empowered hundreds of professionals all around the globe to stand out, communicate with impact, command attention, and achieve financial freedom in record time. Jen leverages her background in psychology, in performance arts, as well as her Harvard Business School MBA. And she has an exclusive application-only Boston-based coaching practice. That sounds really exciting. She's a seasoned marketer who's built brands for industry giants such as Proctor, Gamble, and Johnson & Johnson. Today, she's going to teach you how to take whatever comes your way, all the good, the bad, and she is going to share with us her Ulind method. Please join me in welcoming, without applause, the wonderful Jen Ulind. Welcome to the broadcast, Jen.
Thank you, Samantha, for that introduction.
Oh, you're welcome. It is such a pleasure to have you here. Now, Jen, I would love to hear a little bit about what it is that you do and what you're offering to the world.
Sure. Thank you for having me on the show. What I offer is the Ulin method, which is unlimited, lifelong income now. And what that's really focused on is helping people make money doing what they love and what they're good at, as opposed to trading time for money, working for someone else. So in a nutshell, the Ulind method is all about finding your purpose, finding your package, how to present yourself, and then determining your own pathway.
That sounds absolutely amazing. So what would you say has been your biggest challenge so far? And how did you come to overcoming it?
One of my biggest challenges I faced was when the coronavirus hit, because my clientele is largely one-on-one. When I would meet with students who are looking to get their dream job, when I was looking for or helping people who are in transition with their career and helping them find their dream job, we'd often meet one-on-one in my home office. So COVID hit, and so I had to quickly pivot to an online platform where I feel like some of the nuances of what I teach in terms of nonverbal communication get lost. So pivoting to an online platform was by far my biggest challenge in this venture.
So how did you work to overcoming that challenge for yourself?
So I worked quickly and hard. First off, I called on my mentor, Joel Bauer, and he was running, at that time, a series called Zero to Hero. And that sparked me, since he was leading it in a group format, to realize that as soon as I could master Zoom, 5 minutes, I could switch my entire platform to online. So the way I mastered it was by studying with a master, but also just doing more on Zoom with my clients and making sure that we had the extra time, in particular, to focus on, because they too now are interviewing with people, or they're interviewing prospective clients and selling themselves. So working with them around how to present themselves in a compelling fashion online now.
That's so good. So what would you say is the accomplishment that you are most proud of so far?
My biggest accomplishment with landmydreamjob.com is that I put myself out of business. And by that I mean, I often find that I hit a lull because my clients find their dream jobs, and then I'm constantly looking for new clients to help them find their dream jobs. So managing the lull between having a big bullpen of people that I'm working with, and then knowing that my job is to help them find a job, find a career, find a client that they're in love with. And when they do that, they of course leave me, which is my job. But keeping up with that demand and supply is something that I think as an entrepreneur, we always sort of weigh that balance between going out there and doing some rainmaking and some fishing for new clients while tending to our existing load. So managing that has been a healthy dynamic and challenging dynamic for me.
From what I'm hearing, you're teaching your students to be independent, not codependent of your skills, which I think is absolutely fantastic. As a coach, we don't want our students to be codependent of us. So how did having a core strategy for yourself play into achieving this accomplishment?
So having a core strategy really is about focusing in on how I help other people. People are under the mistaken impression often when they come to me that when they're preparing for an interview, when they're preparing to meet a new client, that the client cares a lot about what they've done. And that's true that they care what they've done, but they only care what they've done in the context of how can that help me? Like, what's in it for me? Like, in my case, for example, Jenny, that's great that you went to Harvard Business School. What do I get from your education? And, from that, I would say I spent 2 long, expensive years grinding away, and I'm going to save you that learning curve as you go out in the world, and try to find your way. So it's always about what's in it for someone else, if that makes sense. So that core strategy helps me help other people position themselves to succeed consistently.
So leveraging your skills with Harvard and your performance skills and et cetera, how do you protect your students? What are 3 to 4 skills that you use to help protect your students against failure?
So 3 or 4 skills that I use actually have come in part from my psychology undergrad background, my business background, and then my acting experience, my improvisational acting experience. So the 3 to 4 critical skills that I help people with are interview skills, how to actually present themselves in a cogent way when asked huge questions like, tell me about yourself, Jennifer. I used to get bowled away by questions like that and thrown off. So I give them a very bite-sized, easy to manage system for answering a question like, tell me about yourself. And I'm happy to go into that more later if you'd like.
I'd love that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Another skill that I teach is, excuse me, around what lights you up inside. A lot of kids in particular come to me and they're already paraprofessional. I know I want to be a nurse. I know I want to be on Wall Street. And I'm thinking to myself, you're 17 years old. How do you know that? So in some cases they do, and in some cases they don't. So when they don't, I work with them to get clarity around their purpose and what lights them up inside. And there's an exercise that I do to help them do that. And then finally, a lot of building success has to do with not only imagining where you want to go, building the skill set to articulate that, but then finally having a purpose and the actual pathway that you're going to go down. So it's one thing to say, I want to be on Wall Street. Well, do you want to be on Wall Street sweeping the bathroom floors? Do you want to be on Wall Street trading stocks? Do you want to be on Wall Street working for Merrill Lynch? I mean, there are really important ways that you can refine your own pathway. So I work with people on that skill set as well.
So you teased us with some of these skills that you offer. I would love for you to share with us one of those strategies, an example, if you can. That'd be great.
Can I use you as my guinea pig?
Absolutely. Great. Wouldn't have asked better. So
I'm going to start really big and just say, Samantha, in 60 seconds. That's off stage. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? And then so really free flow with that. And then I'm going to give you my little trick, and then we're going to do it again. So,
Okay.
Samantha, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I am an internet entrepreneur, a mother of two beautiful little girls. I am a role model and a trailblazer, and really doing my part to make a difference in the world by helping others to step up into their greatness.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did it under 60 seconds, and it sounded very enthusiastic. So that was awesome, especially since I just cold called you. We hadn't rehearsed it at all. Okay, so when someone asks you to tell them about yourself, really what they're saying is, nice to meet you. What can you do for me? So a little mnemonic that I use is called the STAR method. And the STAR method stands for situation / task, action, and result. So if I were you, and why don't you say to me, based on what you just said, tell me about yourself, and I'll use the STAR method.
Okay. I am an internet entrepreneur. I am also a mother of two and a trailblazer and a role model, helping and doing my part to make a difference in my community and in the world.
And the only thing I would add at the end of that to make it like perfect is, what's your result? What do you get for people?
I help people to be able to step into their authenticity and their special so they can express themselves out into the world.
Beautiful, beautiful. So that's cool. A perfect 30-second. You can carry it around with you everywhere. When they ask you about your second thing on your resume, you already have your little star in mind next to your resume. When a client asks you, well, how can you help me? You use the STAR method. Here's what I've done to empower other people. Here's what I can do for you. And as a result, you're going to fly and flourish just like my other clients.
Oh, that's so good. Well, thank you so much. So how has leveraging a strategy like that been able to affect your growth capacity in the building of your Land My Dream job?
So having systems and processes and tools that I use with clients to help them be clear about what they want to do and get their dream job or get their dream client in many cases for entrepreneurs. It's been essential for me to have that sort of toolkit of things I can do to evaluate where the people are now, challenges that we can work on together in terms of where they're at with their growth and their mindset. A tool that I often recommend to my clients is called The Artist's Way, which is a wonderful book. Are you familiar with it?
I have. I love that book. It's so great.
People come to me and they're like, they do a double take and they always say to me, I've always wanted to read that book. And then I say, well, that's your first assignment. You're going to get it on Amazon and you're going to start writing pages. Because there's something very liberating and also reinforcing about The Artist's Way that I find is very much in sync with the way I work with my clients to help them find their dream job, find their dream client, and be happy in the world and stop trading their time for money.
I love that. I love that. And I'm sure anyone that that understands The Artist's Way will have a little bit more clarity in the way that you work and perform. And I know in my audience here, I have quite a few artists that would be able to relate to you. So what would you say is the best strategy that you've learned, and how did it really create impact in your life?
What's the best strategy I've learned and how has it created impact in my life? The best strategy I've ever learned in my life came from improvisational acting. And the basic tenet, the foundation of improvisational acting is saying yes to offers. So if you were to ask me, Jenny, do you want to go out for ice cream? If I say no, that's the end of the dialogue. That's the end of the rapport. The scene is over. If you say, yes, Jenny, I'd love to go out for ice cream with you, We can begin, hey, on our way, can we stop at the zoo? Because I heard there's a new panda that was born. And, you
Mm.
start a scene and you start dialogue and you start building rapport. So when people ask me questions, I'm always eager to join it with them and say yes to offers and help.
Mhm.
And I notice that comes up in life in the most mundane and the most serious ways. But the question is always one where you can join and build on the other person's offer. So yes, and is a big part of what we work on in our role playing.
I love yes and I don't know if you know this, but I was part of an improv group myself, if I can wrap my tongue around the word. And yeah, just getting into that space of creating that storyline. If you say no, well, like you said, the story ends. And what fun is that? You have to be willing to take those chances, to take those leaps. So would you say that that is the strategy that you're known for? And if it's not, what strategy are you known for?
So the strategy that really underpins my whole entire system of land my dream job or land my dream client is the Ulin method, the unlimited lifelong income now. So that's what underpins this all, because you can't land your dream job, you can't land your dream client and be the entrepreneur you want to be unless, of course, you have guiding principles. And for me, one of the key things that brings entrepreneurs together with job seekers are, how am I going to make money? How am I going to put a roof over my head for my kids? How am I going to put food on the table? All of us want to make money doing something we love. And so I feel like the Ulin method is the key to that.
So what has been your favorite strategy that you've implemented here in 2020 when, well, there's all this chaos? What's been your favorite strategy of success this year?
My favorite strategy around success this year comes out of Zoom. When I lead workshops or we have conferences online now, I've learned to use Zoom to do breakout rooms. And I find that it makes the group experience much more intimate, particularly when you come out of the breakout room and you can share some of your learnings. Because sometimes it can be intimidating to be on a panel with 50 other people and you don't want to just raise your hand and offer advice. You'd prefer to do it in a smaller group setting. So working with smaller groups is sort of my sweet spot and my specialty. And Zoom really has a great feature that enables that.
I love that. And I haven't played enough with the breakout rooms, but I have a little bit, and I'm with you. There's something special about that one-on-one that you just don't get in other places. So, Jen, how do we learn more about you and your proven processes?
Very simply, if you go to landmydreamjob.com, which is right at the bottom of the screen, that will take you directly to my website where it explains a little bit more about the process and tells you how to apply to see if you're qualified to have a 20-minute introductory consult with me for free.
Oh, that's so good. Well, thank you so much for being here and being featured in the Light Warriors Academy as a heart-centered entrepreneur. Is there anything else that you would like to add to close up this broadcast that you would like to share with the audience?
I just want to thank you for inviting me and including me. This has been a great experience. I just in closing say, a dream job is anything you want it to be. A dream job is a goal. A dream job is a perfect client. A dream job is a perfect future. I can't guarantee a perfect future, but I can definitely get you on the pathway to achieving your purpose and packaging yourself so that you're clearer to other people in the world about what your gifts are.
I love that clarity because you're right. It doesn't necessarily have to be a job. It really is about the ideal life that you want to live and how you really want to spend those everyday days. Thank you so much, Jen, for being here. And
Thank
for those of you, yes, of course, don't hesitate. She's got free gifts at that landmydreamjob.com. And thank you again, Jen, so much for being here.
Well, thank you, Samantha. I appreciate it.